we saw a lot of confidence being boosted on the side of Arkkyl, being able to rotate around the map, being able to find a kill onto Yammyn in mid lane, even looking for a 1v1 kill against emilitoo, unfortunately getting ganked by adapting underneath. We saw the frustration in his face once he got ganked. But I definitely want to see more of a strategy from Sanguine just to help boost Arkkyl better in the mid game.
Yeah, I feel you on that, and me personally, I think they should try and get Nika a bit more involved. I feel like Dimi's impact in the games, I'm seeing 2 to 3 man fearlesses. It's not something that you see in the figures at the end of the game. Right. But his control in the fights was just flawless, and I feel like Nika's kind of just not there, really. I don't see his presence as much, and I'd like to see him on a god he's more comfortable in.
He was behind 3 levels at one point, 14 versus 17, despite not even having many deaths at all on his scorecard. So doing a great job is Dimi, capitalizing on every ability to farm, being able to invade buffs whenever possible, leaving that one little annoying minion left behind just for Sanguine to have to worry about and clean that one up.
Yeah, Dimi, he's known for his tier. He hasn't played it in a bit, but he definitely has a reputation for that. So on one of his better gods, one of the better solo laners in the world, it is very, very a tall task to expect Nika the rookie to compete with that. So going into the draft phase here, we do see some bans come out for NRG. Naja and Ra taken away. Terra and Ao Kwang, again, looking very similar in terms of the banning phase. They do not want to see a lot of this sustain, and somehow they're taking away the dragon.
Not at all. And I like the style that Sanguine are going for. The fact that they put Naja on Cherryo last game, which means that NRG are giving up the Khepri, so now Sanguine can go into that tanky comp that they're known for.
Yeah, exactly. They just instantly say, look, they've left Khepri open, let's get that. An interesting Freya pick here quite early in the draft on the character. You know, Arkyl's an aggressive player. He, in the mid game, can get some solo kills there. And NRG just straight again. Athena first pick every single game. I mean, I'm not sure about...
And now the Neith.
Yeah, just... I mean, they're getting away with their very comfortable picks here, and I think Sanguine should have maybe looked at some different bans, perhaps maybe like let Ao Kwang go through, maybe even let Taro go through, and just see if they can play those characters. Right. They're giving a lot of respect to them, and... I mean, the Athena play's been great.
I mean, that's been hurting them, right? In this game, the global pressure from the Neith, from the Athena, that's been distracting them. It's put Arkkyl off his game. Even if he's made the right plays, he's constantly thinking about, is the ultimate up from Athena? Can I jump in here? It's maybe throwing him off. I agree with that. Maybe they should have looked to ban that out early.
And even if the Neith ultimate doesn't kill you or help get the kill, it's going to force you in an awkward position where you have to retreat because of all the additional follow-up, which allows adapting to be able to out-farm you, give him that space control that he needs to maybe invade a buff as a result.
Yeah, and I think it's also a weakness for Nika. I mean, if he's not used to playing against Neith in a solo lane, every time he's going for those 1v1s, he's got to think, am I getting an Neith ulted? Or, you know, and he's got to play with that defensive mindset the whole time. And you see it, he's just under his tower, giving up so much. And I just think that is a big aspect. I don't know how to counter it myself, though.
Well, moving into this, we see Sanguine grab Freya, they grabbed Khepri, they grabbed Isis. They still haven't picked for Nika. And is this something that you wanted to see adjusted? Were you thinking they should get him on a god he's more comfortable with? They're saving it for the last pick here. They have an opportunity in this next banning phase to kind of ban out some of Nika's better choices.
That could be a possibility, but I could see Nika playing something very safe. He could potentially pull out the Vamana, maybe the Sun Wukong, and play very passive and still be able to not lose any gold under the tower. Or we could see Sanguine kind of wait for the last pick solo matchup that would be able to counter Dimi, and then maybe look for an aggressive jungler with Cherryo just to be able to control the solo side jungle. Maybe look for some of these blue and speed buff invades.
Yeah, another possibility might be like Ravana. He obviously has the immunity, so when he gets Neith ulted, he has he has the jump away, and he has the immune kick, so he can easily survive those combos, and he can also apply pressure quite safely. So I like to see him maybe on Ravana. We'll see if that's an option for him. They didn't ban it. But.
Not at all.
It looks like Guan Yu and Kraken will be taken away by NRG, as well as Sanguine looking at their last ban. They're gonna pass, it seems like.
It seems that they either couldn't decide in time what to ban, or they deliberately didn't want to ban anything just to kind of give a freebie away. But now it's going to be a Thor for Sanguine. We haven't really seen Cherryo play much Thor recently, but it is a god in his arsenal.
And I believe they did run out of time on that one, so maybe could make up their mind there. We'll see if that comes back to haunt them. They let the tier come back into Dimi's hands, which was very effective. We saw in that last team fight that Fearless was impactful, and Hun Batz will be on adapting. That looks like a dangerous combo there. Talk about aggressiveness.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great god for adapting. He can get in there, get involved, has an escape. It's definitely something that's hard to deal with. But they do have the Isis 4 combo, one of the strongest combos in Smite. You get the 4 wall, into the hammer, into the spirit ball, and it's almost a straight one-shot. So if they can utilize that correctly, they can actually do some good stuff there. I
like Sanguine's composition here. They have a lot of mobility with this Amaterasu last pick. Once the aura gets maxed out, they have the late game damage with the Freya. They have a lot of survivability with this Khepri Isis Circular Protection. And they have the easy engages, whether it's going to be his ultimate or just a tectonic rift from his stun.
Does this give you the type of comfort, safety you think Nika needs in that solo lane?
I'm not really sure. Amaterasu is not the strongest early game character. Against here, I actually think he might struggle again. I think they're going to be looking to pick off the Amaterasu early with the Humbat ult into Neith. It's going to be up to Nika. Can he have the awareness? Can he communicate when those Neith ults are going to come?
I'm expecting Cherryo to really camp this lane, help Nika get in a better spot than Dimi in the mid to late game.
Cherryo on Thor, Nika on Amaterasu. Let's see what happens in game 3. Can Sanguine turn this one back? Tom Aggro standing by with the cast.
Evan, you mentioned two of the characters that I don't want to talk about. Khepri is picked, and NRG have never really dealt well with this character.
I mean, we saw them ban it both games beforehand, so it could be a problem, though. I mean, we've spent a lot of this cast talking about how Murrdurr really likes some more aggressive supports, and he likes to be in the front line, diving the enemy back line. Khepri is even more back line than Geb is. I mean, you're not using Blink Cataclysm on Khepri. You're just sitting in the back, waiting to, use your Rising Dawn to provide damage mitigation to your teammates. You're using that Revive to try and make sure that they stay alive. So we'll have to see how Murrdurr's able to do on it.
iRaffer and the boys have historically struggled against this Khepri pick, so Sanguine are going to pick it up. We'll see what they can do about it. Adapting on the Hun Batz. This is a good choice for jungle.
Hun Batz is a really good character right now. That's where my analysis comes in. He's really, really strong. I mean, yesterday we saw in a decisive game 4 between Orbit and Obey, Captain Twig first picks the Hun Batz, and it makes a huge difference. And the reason we've seen so much of a resurgence from Hun Batz is basically because of one item. hi-rez. That's all it is, man. If you get, so you're getting extra power after on your next basic attack after you use an ability. Hun Batz's passive is that you have crit chance after you use an ability on your next basic attack. So if you do roll well and you hit that crit and you've got your extra power, then you can really, really make a big turn in a team fight out of nowhere. And a lot of European junglers in particular have really been favoring this Hun Batz.
Hun Batz, like you said, it's all because of Hydra's Lament. Hun Batz has gone from a specialty character usually looked at for counter engage compositions and just sort of messing up high execution. And the downside to Hun Batz was the fact that he didn't have the high damage as some of the other junglers. But like we said, with the change to the item, now there isn't really that divot where that lack of damage was. And you do see the Hun Batz chasing down players for solo kills, which is something that you just didn't see in the past.
And one of the times you used to see Hun Batz, like you mentioned, he was really more of a specialist in disrupting team compositions.
One of the best specialists, but still.
Was whenever there was a Khepri on the other team. Whenever Khepri was top pick, top ban, Hun Batz was one of the answers that a lot of teams like to use because it's so, if you just drop Fear No Evil on Khepri and then kill someone else, what's he gonna do? They just die and then your ultimate's basically negated. So it really works well into this team comp, and again, it's just a very strong pick in the meta right now.
Man, do you think if they didn't buff hi-rez, we would have seen adapting Thanatos?
Everyone, I need to let you know, Tom was visibly, very upset about the lack of Thanatos pick from adapting. And I'm going to be honest, I think we would have seen Hun Batz either way.
Really?
Hun Batz is just a stronger character right now. Thanatos just, the risk is not worth the reward.
I mean, with the hi-rez change, I'm certainly not disagreeing, right? I mean, it's just a better option right now, but oh, what a great composition to fight Thanatos.
You're right. I mean, the silence would have been great up against Wingust, Berserker's Barrage, all that kind of stuff. But instead, Hun Batz selected for adapting, and you saw the start, excuse me, coming out of NRG, where they actually started left mids and then went to the red buff, leaving up those back harpies. So that means that they're just more overall pressure on the map for NRG. NRG knows that if they'll position like they just want to trade mids with Sanguine, but they know that the left mids aren't there to trade. They've already gotten those, and it's about getting that extra experience on your mid laner.
These starts are so very important. You see NRG and Eager honestly prioritize a lot of these different sort of start strategies. In fact, Eager wound up losing their game #1 because they tried something different that didn't work out. And it's all the ripple effects from how you start the game. And it's so very interesting. Like you said, just leaving out those back cabs goes directly into this mind game in the mid game. The start is very important.
Backflip, perfectly timed there. Cherryo couldn't find the mark with the Anvil of Dawn, but Adapting going in, catches the hammer, but the beads is in time. DarkDodo gonna trade out some health with that circle of protection, but Adapting's able to get out. Couple relics burned, couple ultimates, but no one dies.
Thanks to Yammyn, Adapting gets out. That is 100% Dodo collecting first blood if Yammyn doesn't quick scope that the ultimate just straight up.
He's quick scoping now. Really? We're gonna go there.
I mean, you can tell like that. Oh man, it's just the first word that came to mind. He didn't charge the ultimate. He was just looking for the direct stun.
Snapshot.
All right.
The snapshot. That's what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna try and stay as far away from quick scoping as possible.
Why?
I've outlived my quick scoping
right
days.
Now, Arkkyl's not outliving nothing. emilitoo, first blood. High aggression in the duo lane.
Both level 4 in that lane, whereas emilitoo and iRaffer are both level 5. Again, that start paying off big dividends for NRG. They're able to pick up that level 5 a little bit earlier than the duo lane, and the ultimate's coming down from emilitoo, able to pick up Arkkyl before he has that Valkyrie's discretion.
And Soul Ultimate is usually, oh, Dimi's in trouble. Will backflip away, and Cherryo just here for the wave. Soul Ultimate is not a gigantic impact. It's good, it's not great, but when you're up against Freya, it's going to control her more so than some of the other other hunters you see in that lane. Kronos can answer back, and obviously all the hunters that have their escape abilities, but Freya, she's just sitting there with no ultimate. Like, what do I do?
Plus, the positioning there from iRaffer was perfect. He taunts him whenever he's going towards the jungle, and then positions himself to block off the path towards the tower, which means that Emil can just paint the entire jungle entrance with that supernova, meaning that Arkkyl has to just sit there and take that damage. There's nowhere for him to go unless he wants to run back towards iRaffer in the wave. So I love the positioning out of the duo lane there, working very well together, which is something you expect for a team that has been together as long as NRG has.
Adapting his ult up one more time, looking through the wall, seeing if he can catch Murrdurr or anybody that walks on by.
This is, going back to when Khepri was a top pick and teams had trouble dealing with him. Hold that thought, iRaffer on the right-hand side. Dimi not going to be able to survive long enough for Defender of Olympus to come crashing down. Nika actually has a lead in the solo lane for once.
Thor just never left.
Yeah, he just chilled, man. He went back in the jungle, used that dunk, came on down. iRaffer wasn't quick enough with the ultimate, and the burst damage was too good. The double ultimate there, dazzling offense and Anvil of Dawn, combining for enough damage to kill Tyr in the early game, which is when it's easiest to kill Tyr.
Yeah.
Whenever he starts leveling up that switch stance and he gains passive protections just for being in blue stance, and whenever he's got that Breastplate of Valor and he's healing for so much after he levels Power Cleave all the way, it's so difficult to kill that character. But in the early game, his clear isn't perfect. It's not great. It's not awful by any stretch, but he needs to use a lot of his skills in order to clear the wave effectively. And so you taking advantage of that early on. And if you can give a solo lane character a lead, Amaterasu is near the top of that list.
Yeah, exactly. Making sure to hit those timings. Half HP on the Gold Fury as NRG tries to sneak it. iRaffer tanks it all the way down. And a couple of shots are thrown out. Now that's a quiet Gold Fury.
Wrath. They're able to find it there because of the Wrath, able to secure a Gold Fury for them. And again, that Wrath is another one of the reasons that we saw the start that we did out of them. You can you can take a little bit more time on that left-hand mid-harpy and then come back and Wrath your red. That means you're not losing as much pressure in your lanes. And it actually forced Murrdurr to pick up a Wrath on Khepri, which is something that, a combination that you really don't see. Like I mentioned, Khepri is not the engage Guardian. He's not the, belly flop in and steal the Gold Fury. He's not going to taunt you and steal the Gold Fury. Nothing like that. It's very much a response to try and stay even with iRaffer.
Thor's up. They killed Dimi once. They're looking for twice. Cherryo misses by a millimeter.
Dimi just knew it was happening. He wasn't stepping even 1 millimeter out of tower. No reason to. It's kind of surprised Cherryo landed in front of him. A lot of times, if you aren't sure that they know, you just kind of come landing quietly back down in the jungle and hope that they don't know that your Thor ult's on cooldown.
Nah, Cherryo's like, I could have had you if I wanted. That's the message.
But
it's about sending a message.
I think the only message that he sent is that his ultimate's on cooldown, and you don't have to worry about it for the next minute and a half.
Yeah, you know what? Cherryo looking to send a message.
Message received. Dimi knows. Now, speed buff secured there. Murrdurr still didn't need to use that Wrath. Adapting's here. He's a level up right now on top of Cherryo. Net worth, they're farming about the same, about 200 gold in the lead for Adapting and just being aggressive in the jungle.
Yeah, man, adapting on this Hun Batz, but not even just adapting. Hun Batz just being able to be a hyper carry. Oh, nobody sees him from behind.
Very patient, though, using the somersault. Now he's looking for it. There it is. Cherryo gonna eat 2 ultimates, but the res from Murrdurr is waiting. They waited out not long enough. Cherryo saved by Murrdurr.
Again, NRG showing that they just have issues with the Khepri.
Sometimes you just have that Achilles heel, you know?
Yeah.
That's what it is, and that's why you see NRG ban it away a lot. That time, a lot of defense tried to keep Cherryo alive. The circle of protection, trying to heal him up, give them that extra protection while he's standing in it. They pop it, he's still low, but not low enough, and so they use Dimi's ultimate, and then he gets revived.
You know, if Dimi had a different ultimate there, if Dimi was Thanatos.
Okay. Get me out, dude. I'm done with that.
Cherryo gonna block out a little bit here in the mid lane. iRaffer by himself, just being obnoxious. iRaffer loves to, by himself, just taunt you and just walk away.
Just stop the clear there. You interrupting that wing gust, a really good way to get under an ISIS player's skin. You're like, come on, dude, I'm only clearing the wave here. It's not that big of a deal. What was that face, Tom?
Thanatos can do that too. Cherryo on the left side, rather the right side, still looking for the Dimi. So camping the tier, like you said, early game, it's certainly a valid strategy. Level 2 out of 3 on the Breastplate of Valor right here, and Dimi already level 11, so he probably has a bunch of the points distributed. At what point do you stop?
Once he gets that second relic online, if he's going to go for the more defensive meditation, it makes it significantly harder to gank him, though last time we saw Dimi on this tier in game 2, he did go for the blink, so you still have that option. Yeah. Right now, you've made it so Nika is holding strong in this lane, right? You can see Dimi's on top of the player damage charts, but if we take a look at the farm, Nika's been able to hang a lot closer than he was in the last time. I mean, yes, Dimi is still in the lead by, you know, 80 gold or 15 gold or whatever, but that's not a big deal whatsoever. As long as Nika is even with Dimi, and then he can come in and try and make the exact same amount of impact that Dimi was able to in the last 2 games, this is fine. Cherryo's already done his job on this right-hand side of the map. I'd like to see him try and put some pressure onto Yammyn on this Neith, possibly even emilitoo on the Soul. I mean, ML has felt absolutely zero pressure in both sets.
I mean, what do you... Ooh, there it is, right on top of Emil. But he's able to walk away. There's help from the support. Cherryo's the one in trouble. Walls up.
Huge
there comes
ults.
adapting. Fear no evil catches 4. Murrdurr walks away, drops the ult, and Cherryo drops adapting.
ML into the Disapparate, not going to be able to find it quite yet. Yammyn still doesn't have that World Weaver even, so great turnaround there. Awesome job. Whoop onto iRaffer. The wall's good from Cherryo. iRaffer left alone. Arkkyl picks him up.
Excellent play. Sanguine's not done yet. Nika leading the charge, looking for emilitoo. 4 players strong. Not gonna dive just yet. Double tap. It wouldn't have killed, but I do want to point out Cherryo hit both. No setup while moving, but it gets immune.
No big deal. No, just showing that he can do it just in case. Love the circle of protection there from TheDarkDodo. His circle of protections in fights have been pretty solid. Objectives, completely different story, but in fights, they've been pretty solid. Right there, he drops it off the huge... Fear no evil from adapting that should have really been a teamfight win for NRG, but instead that keeps him alive for now. Speaking of keeping alive for now, Disapparate doing the same for emilitoo in the duo lane. Arkkyl, even despite being a level down and down a little bit of gold as well, about 500 actually, he's the one putting the pressure on emilitoo.
I like how Sanguine have gone with their draft. We focused really macro on the drafts for Sanguine, really just looking at the overall composition and sort of the approach to the game overall. But here, Arkkyl, what they've done here in game number 2 and game number 3, they're giving Arkkyl, a player who likes to take these duels, these 1v1s, and they're giving him characters that can absolutely do that. The Oddher and the Freya, these are just characters that Arkkyl can use to his play style, and that's the key to playing well and finding wins is meta, whatever worked last time, just play into your own strengths.
Another dunk in from Cherryo on the left-hand side, looking for ML again, forcing the Sanctuary. Disapparate gonna come out, but just enough. The taunt gonna keep him alive, but adapting is... Oh, Dimi's here, but misses the blink. Fearless, I just assumed to be the jungler. Instead, it was the solo laner, couldn't find it on a Cherryo.
There's the top Cherryo coming around from the side. It's gonna be adapting, not willing to commit.
Nika getting some free farm on the right-hand side. No teleport, but it's NRG starting up the Gold Fury, so he's making the rotation in. A lot of objective damage from the side of NRG. Wall cuts off iRaffer. He's got nowhere to go. Dodo going to be able to find him. Huge ultimate, though, from adapting. Dimi picks up 2.
That's the double kill and still not done just yet. Dimi zoning, killing, Dimi handling Sanguine in general. And here's the rest of NRG starting the Gold Fury. Wrath is down, however.
Wrath is down and Murrdurr has his, so there's no way they can try and force this engagement. That's at least one objective secure they should have. Yammyn in a ton of trouble, force use purification, but Dimi doesn't care. He's still going in. Khepri's ultimate onto the mid laner, but he lives himself alone. iRaffer able to come in and help out.
NRG, this is what Tully means when he says force the issue. NRG, they're in a spot where their support is dead with a Wrath on cooldown, and they still want the Gold Fury against a team who has the Wrath. They just take the fight whether or not they deserve to have it, right? And they just absolutely, that was a forced Gold Fury. NRG sits up 3K.
So NRG look like they know how to play against Khepri there, because that's exactly how you draw it up against Scarab's Blessing. You make him use it on someone else and then immediately focus him down. You saw TheDarkDodo just bounce. I mean, he was out. As soon as he got out of there, he had no intentions of helping out their support player. Murrdurr caught in the Gold Fury pit. And again, but the initiation from adapting there was absolutely beautiful.
Cherryo looking to make some moves of his own. Yammyn half HP on the tower. There's the combination. Double tap Berserker's Barrage. We'll see you later.
No purification means no life for Yammyn there. Nice job of recognizing that Relic was still on cooldown. It's a free pick, and that means that you got a little bit of pressure. A little bit of pressure on this left-hand side. Arkkyl looking for the kill onto emilitoo, but emilitoo's willing to trade it out.
There's ult for ult. Arkyl's obviously a little bit more important, however, as it's his main defensive tool. But Cherryo here looking to clean up one more time. And again, always has it available.
Purification ready to go. A nice whoop onto adapting keeps Cherryo safe for now. iRaffer could still look for it, but Murrdurr around the side makes him think twice. iRaffer is level 12 while Murrdurr only level 10, so we could see his second relic come out pretty early here for the support player on NRG, which would give them a little bit of a power play. We don't see a lot of teams really try and push that lead that they get whenever one of their players is level 12 while their counterpart is not. Yeah. But having that extra relic can be a big deal.
Especially when it's 2 levels, right? Because it's not just one play, it's not one single window. You're going to have that opportunity a couple of times, so keep an eye on that.
Dimi just doing Dimi things, now up 2 levels, even with the help from Cherryo earlier on in the game. Nika has fallen behind thanks to the really awesome rotation from Dimi, picking up that double kill off the Fear No Evil from adapting, and then the Gold Fury helping him out as well. Blue buff secured, adapting's here. They're looking for Nika. Oh, great wall though from Cherryo, stops the CC chain. Nika able to get his ultimate off very low. It's actually him going aggressive here. Awesome play. Awesome play there by Cherryo. That's all him.
Absolutely love the way it happens. You know, Cherryo, all he can do is play Guardians and Naja, right? The Thor that we're seeing here is a lot of fun to watch, because I feel like Thor is a character that's like, it's like Othello, right? You can take a minute to learn, but a lifetime to master, right? It's gonna put you in a position where, like, yeah, you got a semi-global ult, you spin to win, and you teleport out with a hammer, right? Good for you. But when you're able to use the wall and its geometry, not just the stun, when you're able to get the basic attack cancels into the combo that we saw on Yammyn, when you're able to make those rotations intelligently, that's really that next level of Thor, and it's really a treat to get to see Cherryo bring it out.
That was just brilliant. I mean, it was a brilliant wall. Nika was absolutely dead to rights. I mean, he ate the tier Fearless. You knew the Fear No Evil from adapting was about to come. World Weaver on top of him as well from Yammyn in the mid lane. And if Nika never gets a chance to get his ultimate off for that CC immunity without that wall from Cherryo, and he doesn't overcommit either. He's just there to try and get him out, and then he himself makes sure that everyone's safe.
At the end of the day, you know what it's all about? Wall.
I can agree with that, my friend.
That's what made it happen.
Not the Ymir this time, but still the wall.
Different flavors, same result. 16.5 on the clock today, folks. Sanguine leading in kills at least, 5-4. However, the gold tells a different tale. 2,500, just barely. And Sanguine looking for an objective. Flirting with the Gold Fury.
Adapting, going in, man. Forces the ultimate from Cherryo. TheDarkDodo drops it on himself. Great double, triple dunk from Cherryo, but it's not enough.
And Murrdurr's going to be brought down to half HP. Here comes Dimi, looking for the backline. Arkkyl to the skies and adapting to the ground. emilitoo gets one on Murrdurr as well. Cherryo dealing out damage, and he gets the kill. emilitoo goes down. 2-4-2. Make that 3. Double kill on the Egyptian.
Dimi is just in the backline trying to go on a Dodo while Nika is trying trying to go on to Yammyn. Finally, Nika turns around, and they're looking at Dimi. No ultimate available for him. He's got nowhere to go except for backwards towards the enemy base. Gonna try and make a play, though. Could turn around and get a big Fearless here, potentially, but it looks like they aren't gonna even chase him down.
I mean, Nika's gonna... You can't not, but, you know, he blinks and he walks away, and oh well. And just, again, unfortunate. Sanguine go ahead and they rob the bank the second after the armored truck leaves. They get an awesome team fight. They clean it up, and Gold Fury's down, and all the buffs are down, and the towers aren't there, and that's that.
But that right there was a shell from iRaffer that was absolutely beautiful because they got 3-man dunk. They were so stacked on each other that I thought he only hit 2. That's how close together they were. But the shell made it so that dunk wasn't impactful. It's spin to win as well. Another really excellent engage from adapting with that Fear No Evil. Immediately forces the ultimate from Cherryo.
That was so quick.
And the purification from TheDarkDodo. But again, TheDarkDodo using that ultimate very defensively, dropping it on top of himself, and it helps turn the fight around. Really, really excellent play out of both sides there.
What I really liked out of the adapting ultimate was how it was so unexpected, because that's the key. We've spoken about it before. Here on LAN, when there's no ping, you can actually react to the sound cue of the totem coming down. So you hear the kind of bongo thing come out, and you're able to backflip or whatever tool your character has to get out of jail before the tick hits. So the key here is that adapting catches you off guard. You can hear it, but if you're not expecting it, as opposed to seeing Batz and then he blinks on you, that's a little bit rougher. So adapting catches Sanguine when they least it. I didn't expect it.
And that's been his MO this game. I mean, on the right side Harpies, he comes around the back. No one knows he's there. He gets the 4-man Fear No Evil earlier on. No one knows he's there. By the right here where he is right now, by the red buff of the enemy. So he's done a good job of wrapping around the back. Nika able to get the first tower on the right-hand side. Arkkyl gets taunted, not using any purification yet, but then it just lasts so long that he's pulled so far back. Yammyn's able to find the route to force that relic.
Gold Fury started by NRG. Sanguine gonna look on. It's leashed a little bit, waiting for the right opportunity. Wrath is up for both supports, who are both local. Neither team wants to commit, and probably for good reason. Cherryo gets rooted, but he gets a help out from his mid laner. Stun onto iRaffer. Cherryo's gonna get the ult from Murrdurr. And that's a win for NRG, but here comes the rest of the squad. Fear No Evil catches 3, and adapting trying to deal it, but there's just no damage.
Cherryo up in the sky right now. Shell's been popped by NRG. He's going to come crashing down. iRaffer actually wrathed Cherryo mid-hammer throw that made him almost die there. So no Wrath is available for this Gold Fury pull, and you can see NRG because of that going to be backing up. Murrdurr still has his, however, which means that they could look for the Gold Fury instead. Just going to split up and farm. And another absolutely brilliant wall from Cherryo. Fear No Evil on Arkkyl. Arkkyl didn't have his purification, had popped the Sanctuary before, but he was still going in the wrong direction. He had no control over his character thanks to that ultimate, and the wall stops adapting, forced him to use purification as well. Cherryo looking very, very strong this game. I mean, he's right there. He's like 29 damage away from top of the player damage charts.
This has been my guy. This is the diamond in the rough, man. Cherryo, you know, so Cherryo plays from Egypt, and he's got a ping problem and this, that, or a third. There's always so many excuses, I feel like, when it comes to Cherryo not being on a strong team. But at the end of the day, you know, I've spoken to Cherryo before, and he specifically, whether or not he had offers, I'm not sure, but he specifically wanted to stay with this roster because he didn't want to leapfrog to the top if that was even an option. He said, you know, when they were playing with Badja, he said, look, my team has some obvious issues, but I want to work through it as a unit. I want to succeed as a team. And right here, you're seeing Cherryo sort of stick to it. I'm curious about next year. But I do, to a certain extent, respect the stick-to-itiveness coming out of the jungle.
Solid word there. Stick-to-itiveness.
Yeah.
It's almost as good as Sobekitude.
Almost.
Almost. Not quite. But you're right. I mean, this is a guy who definitely wants to put in the work. He's not the oldest guy. He's actually a pretty young kid overall, but definitely has his head about him and really likes to think about the game at a high level. And, you know, he and his teammates, I loved talking to him. I was able to talk to them as a group earlier on this weekend, or this week rather. Super Regional's so long, man. It's only Thursday. Oh my goodness. And they all kind of push each other's buttons a little bit, and Cherryo says it's just me and a bunch of idiots. I don't know how I ever just am able to survive with this team, but they work together very, very well, and their camaraderie is pretty commendable.
Nice little play. Adapting, gonna get, oh, well, that one wasn't nice. The Whoop is going to cancel out some of the damage from Cherryo, but it forces out the iRaffer ultimate, and that's a huge win.
And that means that if they can get some significant poke onto iRaffer, he's not going to be able to back and just ult back into the fight and contest that or the Gold Fury, which means that any sort of poke onto him, they can look at him now. Usually you won't be looking at the support for multiple reasons. Number one, because they're a support and they're super tanky, but number two, you can look and try and make him back.
There's emilitoo being chased down. The gumball's wrecking, and the ultimate comes out. Arkkyl takes down emilitoo easy. On the back end, Cherryo teleports to the back, but not going to find a kill.
emilitoo, just lack of respect there. Had both relics and didn't use either one. Cherryo around the back, Dimi nowhere to go. Wall blocks him off, actually, even despite the Lawbringer. TheDarkDodo has the ultimate down, just healing everyone up. NRG forced to back up. Wrath is available for Sanguine right now. They could be looking for more objectives.
Instead, they're going to look for the towers, and I like this play, Aggro. It's all about the map control. Taking out the mid lane towers removes a safe spot, and it removes Murrdurr, not Dimi. Yammyn takes out Murrdurr from a distance.
How is Dimi still alive? Adapting.
I don't know.
Yammyn able to pick up Murrdurr there, not able to get that tier 2 tower, not even close to getting that tier 2 tower realistically. I think that was a improper chain CC. You saw the abduct coming out from Murrdurr into an immediate spirit ball whenever he's still being silenced and pulled back. It just wasn't the right lineup of CC there. It leads to Dimi able to get that defensive power cleave off, able to survive, and they turn it around.
Dodo's here with the Isis ultimate. We'll see if it works out this time. Doesn't need to. Instead, he just walks forward and chases energy off, and that be that. Gold Fury is going to be grabbed by Sanguine, however. Yeah, there's Leash, no problem. Dimi's going to get lifted, and the iRaffer ultimate comes down, tickles Nika on the side, adapting, looking for a flank, but Sanguine, full retreat.
No Wrath up still for iRaffer, but Murrdurr's dead, even though, or excuse me, was dead. He's coming back now. I don't know if he's going to be able to get to this Gold Fury in time. iRaffer taunts everyone in.
10,
Gold Fury getting
5.
very low. Energy got it, despite the ult from Arkkyl.
And there's the ultimate out of adapting on the backside. Arkkyl, he's got no Valkyrie, and he's got no life. 2 kills for energy so far. Continuing, Cherryo cuts down adapting, but he gets cut down by Yammyn. Back and forth, 10-10, even game.
Murrdurr ults himself just to give himself some extra movement speed to make sure he can get away. Gold Fury goes the way of energy, the third of the game already, sitting up about 6,000 gold. They're gonna be able to push down this middle tier 2 as well. The tower shred between emilitoo and Yammyn is gonna be way too much for this tower to stand.
Even game for kills, but the gold, 7K in the lead for energy.
And again, it was the same sort of story last game. It was Sanguine in the lead in kills, significantly behind in golden experience. This time, even in kills, significantly behind in golden experience. Objectives, objectives, objectives. It's the name of the game. Eager preaches it all day long. They don't care about kills. They only care about the objectives.
I think the big point, here's going to be the control of Murrdurr. Dimi finds a nice Fearless. There's a secondary one. Over the top, looking for the kill. There it goes. Dimi takes down the support. And Nika's in trouble. Half HP.
Now he's in a lot of trouble, forced to use a sprint just to immune the slow coming out of emilitoo. Did force the purification, so that's a slight win, but still losing your defensive relic, losing your support in the process as well. Just not able to find it. TheDarkDodo near the bottom of the player damage charts, bottom as far as actual damage dealers go on this Isis, and we saw it last game. The objective secure wasn't there. This game just hasn't been able to really link up with Cherryo to make that sort of big play potential happen with a gank in the mid lane. Just doesn't seem to be the pick here with this Isis.
Dodo's a spotty player, man. That's really what it just comes down to. I actually like Dodo's Isis most of the time, but inconsistency is just sort of the motif of the Dodo. You saw that when he was playing solo lane for Dignitas, and here in the mid lane, he's a little bit more consistent, but still unable to really find his groove. Fire Giant goes down to energy. Sanguine show up just as it's taken down, and Nika gets pushed and slammed in a locker.
I thought the call was to give it up by Sanguine's positioning, and yeah. I guess Nika didn't agree. I guess he didn't think they should give it up and goes in and dies for it. Now it's a 5v4 for the next 48 seconds, and that's a big target to lose. Your frontline solo laner that's been able to do a little bit in terms of making sure that the back line is a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, that right there, that's just a rookie mistake, I feel. You know, he gets excited looking for the hot play. Cherryo looking for one of his own. It's going to get purified out, but Sanguine able to at least stop the push. Arkkyl had to ult there. That's going to be a problem. In fact, with Arkkyl ulting, there's no more safety on the side of energy. or Sanguine, excuse me, and NRG able to take out that right Phoenix.
It is the right Phoenix, so it's not the worst Phoenix to lose. You can defend that and Fire Giant after they get it back fairly easily, but it is going to be a Phoenix down still, so you've got Fire Minions pouring in. More concerning to me is this 11,000 gold lead for NRG, as well as the experience difference. I mean, again, 4 level 20s on NRG. We're sitting at almost 12,000 experience difference. 4 level 20s on NRG, and this is what exactly we saw last time. It was iRaffer who's like even with most of Sanguine, and everyone else level 20, whereas you only have 2 level 20s for Sanguine, and neither of them are even full build. You've still got a full item slot left for Cherryo. Nika has yet to sell a starter item and hasn't finished off what's either going to be a Spirit's Robe or Mantle of Discord. So these items are being finished off on the side of NRG, whereas Sanguine's still waiting for some key power spikes.
Murrdurr has 3 items, and one of them is a single stacked urchin. He's just been controlled the entire game. You know, I came into this one saying that NRG don't play around Khepri well. I think they figured it out.
They got it. They popped the res once and haven't since. I like the idea from Sanguine to just give up this left-hand side entirely and try and get some extra gold. Arkkyl pushing down the tier 2 tower in middle. Looks like he's going to be able to get it with the help of minions once he backs, but they're not going to have that gold to spend right away to defend here.
There's the dash in from iRaffer. Cherryo takes to the sky while Nika stuns the support. Down comes Cherryo. He's taken out of his damage as well. Meanwhile, Murrdurr's being handled by Dimi on the back end, but Dodo handles Dimi. Down goes the solo later. It's 5-on-4.
Abduct coming in huge that fight. Dimi had nowhere to go. Raffer getting low. Huge Fear No Evil again
Murrdurr
from adapting. Scarab's Blessings popped. emilitoo still looking for him. Arkkyl finds adapting in the background thanks to Valkyrie's discretion. emilitoo on the run. Cherryo still trying to find him. Yammyn just trying to trade in. Arkkyl picks up emilitoo. Looks like Cherryo's gonna... Cherryo fell there? I was expecting to say Cherryo picks up Yammyn, but it's the other way around.
Nika able to clean that one up. NRG Esports, they almost get wiped. 4 players go down. Sanguine put a stop to the siege. Now, Phoenix does fall, but Sanguine are able to take out 4 players, and this time, Sanguine will actually get something off of it. The tier 2 tower that Arkkyl was pushing, this is going to go down. The Phoenix, Dimi will be up, Raffer will be up. Sanguine can take it.
Can they, though? I mean, they don't have any tower damage, really. Arkyl's not going to be able to do that to the Phoenix. In fact, it's going to be Sanguine backing up. Nika looks like he wants to take that tier 2 tower on right, but no. Sanguine's going to take away a speed buff for a 4-man wipe with only the support up, with Gold Fury still standing. That Gold Fury would have been key for them to take, getting those items online that I was talking about, that they need those power spikes. I mean, like you mentioned, Murrdurr's got 3 items completed, and he finally got another stack on that Eye of the Urchin, by the way, so that we got that going for us. No Rod of Tahuti, or we just started building it on TheDarkDodo, Lost Artifact. Yeah, just not the correct decision-making there as a whole from Sanguine. I think the Gold Fury there was the right call.
To be fair, Sanguine are so used to winning team fights only when nothing's up, so maybe they just got conditioned into, well, we want a team fight, there's nothing to get. There's a nice 1,000 crit coming out from adapting on the Batz as the PvE is on. And NRG take down the Gold Fury, uncontested. Sanguine too busy dealing with the fire minions. Actually, they're not even dealing with the fire minions. They're just clearing mid lane.
Cherryo's trying to deal with someone on the right-hand side, but it looks like he may have missed a wave after picking up his speed buff, which means Nika needs to be there to make sure that Phoenix doesn't fall the second it respawns. Fire Giant back up in about 30 seconds right now, and NRG, I talked about it earlier on, who has the tempo as far as the map control goes. It is 100% NRG. You can see TheDarkDodo on the left-hand side, still dealing with those fire minions. Right Phoenix has respawned for Sanguine, but they still got a couple fire waves to deal with, which means that NRG can just take their time and light up this right side of the map with wards.
That said, this is one of the first times that the clock has been nice to Sanguine. The fact that the Fire Giant comes up after the Phoenix respawns means that Sanguine can actually contest this. If the Fire Giant is being fought while that Phoenix is still being assaulted, Sanguine can't come anywhere near this.
They might not be able to come near it anyways. It's getting pretty low, about 50%. No one here to respond quite yet. Murrdurr is now, but doesn't have the Wrath for another 12 seconds.
Dimi's just going to control him, pushes him into the wall. NRG get the Fire Giant. No contest. And down goes the bug.
That bug was so key to them winning that team fight in the last time that losing him here really hurts, because he was the one who locked down Dimi. That passive from Tier that limits all CCs to 1 second doesn't apply to Abduct. He's sitting there forever. We saw the Circle of Protection come down in it and really bursted down that Soul Laner, which allowed Sanguine to win the team fight. Now, without that support, it's going to be much harder to defend their Titan.
Nice little backstep coming out from Sanguine to avoid the taunt. The Phoenix goes down anyway. Yammyn half HP thanks to TheDarkDodo through the wall. Mid Phoenix is going to be the target for NRG up next. Here comes the ult out of Nika. The Titan is going to get aggressed on by the Fireman. He's on the left side. Arkkyl takes out adapting. Cherryo on the left side biding his time, but his team is getting pushed around. Cut him down. iRaffer gets the kill. 32 on the clock. And ladies and gentlemen, Sanguine are trying to play defense.
Ultimate onto emilitoo from iRaffer, but they're piling into the Titan room. Emil's going to pick up Cherryo. No surprise, we're going to be seeing NRG Esports at the World Championships in January.
Just such a strong team. Many different compositions coming out on both sides of the coin, and NRG able to take all 3 games.
Look at them, they're just all business. They're like, all right, Worlds. All right, we're going. Yeah, okay, cool. Atlanta in January is not so bad. This is what they expect. They've had so much success. This is what they've come to expect from themselves. A 3-0 victory over Sanguine. And, you know, it's unfortunate that Sanguine had to face off against, you know, these world beaters after winning their group, or at least coming second in their group, to kind of further their Cinderella story. But luckily for them, it isn't over quite yet. They've still got the group stages. And that's something that we were talking about before Game 3, is that they at least don't have to, in Game 3, they didn't show anything. Yeah. You know what I mean? They didn't show any strategies that they may be looking to use in the group. That was a pretty cookie-cutter sort of team composition for Sanguine, so if they've got any extra strategies left in their pockets, they could pull them out of the group stage.
We'll certainly have to see. They'll have a tough order as Orbit is down there as well. They get knocked out yesterday by Obey, and a swift 3-game sweep coming out from NRG sends Sanguine down to groups. We'll talk to the analysts about the entire set. Hey, Evan, how'd you like it?
Well, I loved it. I was expecting to see some fearlesses from Dimi outside of the game, like we saw Aurora pull on Zapman there, but unfortunately, none of the crazy celebrations we saw Eager had. They were excited, though. We did hear them yelling. They were happy. They are in Worlds now, our 3rd team to qualify for the event. Overall, really successful for NRG, and they were able to just secure their position, not only in Worlds, but I think as the top dog in Europe at this point.
They're definitely, this pays off all their hard work throughout the year. Now they finally made it to Worlds, something that they've been not struggling for, but striving for, rather, is the right word to put it.
Yes.
And now they've made it for the 2nd year in a row. They're trying to figure out a way now to see who's going to be next to them on Sunday whenever they go up against Obey. They want to get that first seed to put themselves in that best position possible.
Yeah, if I know NRG right now, they're probably not even happy until they've won this LAN. Like, they want the W. I mean, they're stoked for Worlds, but it's almost expected that they'll be at Worlds. I think they want to get the W on Sunday, and they're going to be just focused on that for the next couple of days.
So no long drinks of water tonight?
Maybe not.
Tonight.
Maybe some scrims.
Some scrims. Okay.
They'll probably have a few scrims. They have a couple. They have a couple of days. You gotta celebrate.
Well, they will be excited to move forward, and I'm sure that all of us are excited to see some other top-tier play coming forward. Overall, I think the interesting aspect for me is, does Sanguine have anything else in the bag that they did not bring out? Were they resigning that they were going to lose to these guys and maybe saving some cool stuff for the group stage? That's what I'm interested about.
The interesting thing is, like, we've seen a lot of their plays, their tanky compositions, their non-shot compositions and setups with Dodo, but the problem is, how are other teams besides NRG going to adapt to it? Because obviously NRG being a world-class team, they've been through it all and they know how to adapt to multiple strategies, whereas teams that are waiting for them in the group play might not be so experienced to adapt to that.
And it's best of one.
Yep.
So it's just one great strategy can get you very far, especially if you're able to adapt that. Cherryo, he seemed to be getting his rhythm as the games went on. Suntouch.
Yeah, I mean, Cherryo, I think he played a lot better. When you go 0-8 in the first game, the mentality to come back and bounce back and make some big plays, you got to commend him.
Yeah.
Great character, great personality, and I think he can lead them in this kind of circus group, as I like to call it, the best of ones, you know. Yeah, and I also got to shout outs to Arkkyl.
Yes.
Just great performance every single game.
Right.
Great mechanics, and I think he's probably actually the top 3 hunters in Europe right now.
He's always so aggressive, always looking for the right opportunities, going from Jingwei to Anher to Freya, always stepping it up, trying to look for these boxing matches, going for whatever kill that he could possibly get. Unfortunately, just not in that position late game that he really needs to, because his team objectively, this was a great counter push coming out of Sanguine, being able to take out 4 members from NRG, only losing Cherryo in the process. The problem was where they got these kills. It was on the left side Phoenix. They had to travel all the way down to NRG's mid Phoenix, and by the time they got there, they realized, hey, we don't have an actual physical hunter to take this Phoenix
That's
out.
right.
Yeah, it was a really bad shot call. I mean, they could have got gold, both the buffs, and they just kind of, it's a bit of a panic. I think they were excited. They were like, we can get a Phoenix, you know, this is our opportunity, this is our moment, and yeah, just not great.
Yeah, it's been interesting. It's been a great event so far. And of course, we do have, I think, a couple of things on the table. The draft, for me, did go the way of NRG. I think a lot of these games, they got their comfort picks. They got the Athena. They played on the Soul. They had a lot of things that they felt really good with. You see the post-game statistics. They kind of tell the story as well. But I think the comfort and the mentality of how they just, you know, they weren't having anything come forward to take away their rhythm. You know,
you see they have the kills. They're close on kills, but objective-wise, NRG just blew them out of the water.
That's right.
They had a lot of damage objectively also between that Neith and the Soul, being able to just absolutely melt the structures, melt the Gold Furies, and even on top of that, they always prioritized the Athena in all of their games. They were first pick in every single one of them, wanted to take that off the table. Now, it could potentially flex for Dimi, but it just seems that it doesn't matter because iRaffer was just doing such a great job. And this is not a god that I'm normally used to seeing out of iRaffer. Normally, he plays a lot of other Guardians.
Yeah, I mean, his Athena play was flawless, and I mean, he's just he is the best support in Europe, probably. He's just an absolute beast. He brought this team together, and you got to commend him for it.
Absolutely, and on top of that, we also have another community that you guys can be playing for, Faceit.com. If you guys go over there, you guys can get your exclusive chest rolls, your skins, and your gems just for playing in some pug matches.
Well, you know what? I'm done looking at this screen. I want to take a look at what Dimi has to say after this great win. Those tier plays, he's looking like he was real comfortable. Adonis, take us to what he has to say.
Thanks, Randy. I am here with Dimi, now qualified for the Smite World Championship 2 years in a row. Let's talk about actually kind of what Evan just mentioned, kind of your tier plays. How confident do you feel about the set as a whole in your own play?
I actually have to say that the tier was not something that I meant to be bringing out this LAN. It just happened to be that the way the bans went, the way the picks went, I was like, okay, I have to play a tier here, right? So as you could, I'll probably tell that I was a bit rusty on the Blink Fearless. You know,
a little bit. I saw a couple missed ones.
You miss it again. Force is active still, but that's fine. But yeah, it was okay at the end.
Well, how's the team feeling? Obviously, you guys won last year's Worlds. You're going to be the returning champions, going to try and defend your title. I mean, was this kind of expected coming into this matchup? Is this like a big, like, hey, we're back at it again? Or is this more of a, okay, we did what we were supposed to do?
This is basically, we were already really happy playing the group stages. We came out, we had to face a couple of strong teams who faced Obey, and then we found out that we would be facing Sanguine for this spot. And technically, it should be sort of a given, as there should be a sort of like difference between skill levels.
It was the first seed to the 8th seed, to
exactly,
be fair.
Right? Okay, I didn't want to mention it like that, but that's the way you put it. And this should be a given. We have to go to Worlds. This is what we do. And, well, I'm glad it went that way.
Well, how much preparation did you guys come into this LAN with? I know, you know, going back earlier in the year, you guys said a little bit of slacking off. I know Adapting mentioned it as well. He got kind of revitalized when people started mentioning Cuvo Fred being debatably better than him. Did you guys come in, you know, prepping the same as you did for Worlds last year?
This is the tournament that we've put this year the most practice into, besides Worlds, of course, which was also this year. The tournaments before that was kind of like, all right, just be easy going, not doing the hard draft. But this time around, we practice hard, scrim every week. We had a boot camp before that as well. I heard. And we had all the picks and bans laid out, and this is as dry as it gets.
Was the boot camp beneficial? Did you guys kind of become a cohesive unit? That face tells me it was a little bit of the opposite.
Sure. See, I'm not part of the boot camps because I'm staying at home doing uni stuff. Okay. But they're having a great time in London, so, I think it was good.
You're left out. You're left out. They're like, you guys could be happy. Were you ever worried about this set, though? I mean, obviously, Sanguine comes with a play style that no one else has really been running, that Guardian in the jungle. We haven't really seen that in the meta for a couple of years. Did you guys plan specifically against that, or was this more we felt we'll play our game plan, and our natural skill will kind of come on top at the end.
It's going to be a combination of both. Obviously, you want to play a lot of respect to the enemy team. We know what they've been running. They want to have a Guardian, or the Ninja, or a Healer. That's Sanguine for you. And if you take away stuff that really benefits their playstyle, then you can have an easy game. And not only were we able to take stuff away, but we're also able to get our dream comp every single time.
Yes.
So I'm not sure what went wrong there, but
you guys seemed very comfortable, but that's going to be it for us. Before we let you go, do you have any shout-outs to the fans at home?
Of course, obviously, shout-outs to all my fans, shout-outs to my family at home. Love you so much for supporting me, and also shout-outs to Rania.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dimi. That was a little bit awkward, but we got it handled. Don't worry, guys. We still have more Smite action coming up. It's going to be Sword taking on Luminosity for their chance at Worlds.